we are here now in 2010, and this represents the beginning of the third decade of effective efforts to call to the attention of the public the problems of the contamination of the environment by compounds that affect all areas of human endeavor, both physiological, like reproduction, as psychological, and people have been working very hard, especially in the last 10 years, to identify which are those problems. I mentioned that this is the beginning of the third decade. The event that I would consider is the initial one was the declaration of the Wingspread group in 1991, which I thought was the seed of this tree that has grown out of that. Now, as a result of the definitions that the Wingspread group made, a number of different areas have developed. Our laboratory, together with Ana Soto, have developed the issue of how to measure, in other words, how to document that indeed the compounds that are in the environment are or are not estrogenic. Other groups have developed into different areas, and the meeting that we are now attending indicates how many of those disciplines have been evolving, trying to assess the damage that these compounds have produced. Needless to say that we have just touched the surface of the problem, because there are 80,000 compounds that have been released, and only over hundreds have been characterized as whether they are or not estrogenic. So there are a number of others that are out there that we don't even know how they behave. The most important issue is that in these 20 years, we have collected enough data for the socio-political establishment to take cards in this game and decide why or who is responsible for the introduction, for the regulation, and for the banning of certain substances. Fortunately, there are several governments that have already committed themselves to start this process. But assuming that we live in a working democracy, is the people who have to put pressure on our elected representatives and impress on them that it is for everybody's benefit that we eliminate these compounds. In fact, what is called green chemistry is something that is taking over, especially in Europe. And for those of us who don't live permanently in Europe, at least this is my case, I see Europe as the example for the rest of the world of how to take advantage of a disadvantage. In America, there is a saying that when you have a lemon, which is something bad, you make lemonade, which is something that is not that bad. Precisely, there are certain things that we can build upon to make our life better. And there are governments that are actively doing this. Is this a hopeless issue? No, it is not. It is precisely a great enterprise that human beings can take over from now on. And I am optimistic that just for self-preservation, we will take cards in this game and play them the right way. And I believe that demanding that our environment be livable is precisely the kind of optimistic view that I see we should follow.